Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the latest from Miami as former President Donald Trump makes his first court appearance since being indicted on 37 charges related to the mishandling of classified documents. And this month is Men's Health Month. We'll talk to a doctor about what you can do if you need help.
And highs in the 80s are back as we head toward the back half of the week. I'm tracking when showers and storms could come back as well. Coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Former President and 2024 Republican candidate Donald Trump has been arraigned on dozens of charges related to his handling of government documents. CBS's Chelsea Jones has the latest from Miami.
Former President Donald Trump stopped at a Miami area restaurant following his arraignment on felony charges.
We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline, and then they do this stuff.
Earlier, a lawyer for the former president entered a plea of not guilty to all 37 counts. He is accused of illegally retaining classified documents, storing them at his Mar-a-Lago home, and conspiring to hide them from the government after it subpoenaed him to get them back.
What we are witnessing today is the blatant and unapologetic weaponization of the criminal justice system.
We want Trump! We want Trump!
Supporters and protesters brought their opinions of the case.
This whole country has been brainwashed.
Sad day in America.
While this is one of several investigations into Trump, this is the first time the Justice Department has brought charges against a former president. In announcing the indictment Friday, special counsel Jack Smith maintained the case is not politically motivated.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
Trump, who is the current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination, has seen his poll numbers go up since his indictment. Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Trump is headed back to his New Jersey golf club to rally with supporters and meet with campaign donors tonight, and we'll have more on that coming up later at 11. The U.S. is sending more military aid to Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced a new security assistance package worth $325 million. It includes air defense capabilities, armored vehicles, and various forms of ammunition. Since the conflict with Russia began, the U.S. has spent more than $37 billion on military aid to Ukraine. The number is much higher than that when humanitarian and other financial support is considered. Denver police are investigating a shooting as the city celebrates its first NBA championship. 10 people were shot around 12:30 overnight as many in the area were celebrating the Denver Nuggets' first ever NBA title. Denver police say 3 of the victims who were shot are in critical condition. Police also believe the other victims have non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they have 2 suspects in custody. An officer who wrongfully shot an 11-year-old in rural Mississippi is suspended without pay. The State Bureau of Investigation says the shooting happened when Indianola Police Sergeant Greg Capers was responding to the boy's 911 call last month. An alderman for the community says its leaders voted 4-1 for the suspension Monday. It's in lieu of the initial decision to put Capers on paid administrative leave. The boy's family says he's suffering from a collapsed lung, fractured ribs, and a lacerated liver. They say Capers should be fired. The Bureau is investigating the use of force. A Louisiana team that's been known to find missing people is in Kentucky looking for a man who disappeared about a year ago. Cajun Coast Search and Rescue is in several locations in Pulaski and Wayne counties. They are looking for Ricky Griffiths. His family says he's not been seen or heard from since July of last year, around the 4th. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more.
Ready to work? Tony Wade traveled to Kentucky from Louisiana in hopes of providing answers for a family that's been searching for them for more than 11 months.
We know he was there the night he came up missing. Whether anything happened there or not, we don't know, but we want to, if anything else, eliminate the areas in Pulaski County.
That area was south of Burnside. Wade's dog Holder did hit on something, but it turned out to be a false lead. They do plan on searching areas in Wayne County as well.
Yeah, we train hard, we're nationally certified. Holder and I we're typically the part of the team that handles the cold cases.
Holder has 27 recoveries, and they've worked all over the country. Wade was here 4 years ago in the search for Savannah Spurlock in Garrett County.
Probably the second best dog I've ever had. You know, when I was up here a few years ago, I had Canine Pepper with me, and you know, she died during a deployment. He's going to catch up with her, I think.
And they hope Griffiths will be recovery number 28. Griffiths was last seen July 4th in this area. His car, wallet, and phone were recovered in Wayne County a few days later.
So I finally made contact with the family. I was tagged in a Facebook post. I made contact with Cheyenne, actually, and it kind of just leapt from there. About a week or so ago, we talked about me possibly coming up to try and search for Ricky.
The Wayne County Sheriff's Office and now the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is part of this investigation. The Wayne County Sheriff has told me on several occasions that foul play is a possibility in this case. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Tony Wade says his crew could look for other missing Kentuckians while they are in the state. They operate on donations, and you can find a link to their Facebook page on WYMT.com. Another U.S. military base is changing its name. Instead of being named for a Confederate officer, Fort Polk in Louisiana will be named for a World War I hero. Sergeant William Henry Johnson was a black soldier who fought about 24 Germans single-handedly, killing at least 4 of them. Johnson was awarded a Purple Heart and Medal of Freedom, but only decades after his death. Fort Johnson is one of 9 bases getting a new name. The transition should be finished by sometime next year. Attorneys for Elizabeth Holmes say she should not be forced to pay restitution after she is released from prison. The disgraced former Theranos CEO and COO Ramesh Sunny Balwani were previously ordered to pay $452 million to victims of their crimes. However, lawyers for Holmes argued in a court filing yesterday she has limited financial means and should not be forced to pay $250 a month in restitution. The move from Holmes's attorneys comes after federal prosecutors said in a separate filing last week that clerical errors had resulted in no payment schedule being set for Holmes. Holmes reported to prison late last month in Texas to serve out her more than 11-year sentence. She was convicted early last year on multiple charges of defrauding investors while running the failed blood testing startup Theranos.
Looking mighty fine out there this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, cool temperatures, at least by June standards. We're about 10 degrees cooler than we should be this time of year, but that is perfectly comfortable in many respects. Here's the view outside from our Buffalo Mountain cameras. 72 the current reading. It's looking pretty nice outside. Temperatures region-wide. We're up to 75 in Harlan, Manchester, 76 in Middlesboro. Plenty of low to middle 70s out there. Mid-60s in Wise at this point, so the cooler spots staying cool. But you factor in the dew point there in the 50s. Feels pretty darn nice outside. We'll continue to see clouds trying to skirt the Interstate 64 corridor up near Moorhead, but most of that staying north of the Ohio River, and we'll expect that through the evening. So your forecast first as we head through the evening, mid-70s down into the mid and eventually lower 60s. But you notice we start to increase that cloud cover as we head past midnight. That's something we'll watch, and we'll watch the potential for a few more showers too in the forecast. I'll break that down in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. June is Men's Health Month. WYMT's Keaton Hall spoke with a doctor about some of the challenges and options men have for their physical and mental health.
June is Men's Health Month, a time to encourage men to take charge of their health.
As long as we're staying on top of the screening exams, talking about their mental health, and then diet and exercising, I think those are the big things we try to hit.
Dr. Profit with Primary Care Center in Hazard says dealing with mental health can be especially serious for men.
Mental health, I think that's a big one. You know, anxiety, depression, things like that. And sometimes men try to put on the, you know, a different face and just get through it. So I feel like that's something that you have to address.
Dr. Profit says exercise can help with not only your physical health but your mental health as well.
You know, lowering your A1C, diabetes, staying active is just definitely going to do that, and that's something we see a lot around here is diabetes. So staying active helps that. Mental health, I mean, it's going to help anxiety, depression.
But it's often not as simple as just lifting weights or going for a walk. mental health issues can lead to a lack of motivation.
Motivation is a big thing, and like I mentioned, I mean, mental health, you have to stay on top of that, because that can cause just decreasing compliance of diet and exercise. So
Dr. Profit recommends getting contact with the gym or physical therapist to help you get motivated and staying up to date on visits with your clinician. In Hazard, Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
Dr. Profit also mentioned this week is a great time to get active outdoors thanks to the comfortable weather we're having. The Orange County, Florida Medical Examiner's Office has released the autopsy report for three-time Olympic medalist Tori Bowie. She died last month from complications of childbirth. The report claims Bowie was about 8 months pregnant and had been undergoing labor. The 32-year-old appeared to have respiratory distress and seizures. Bowie won 3 medals at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio: gold in the 400-meter relay, silver in the 100 meters, and bronze in the 200 meters. She also won 2 golds at the 2017 World Championships. Bowie's last official competition was in June of 2022. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Father's Day is almost here. Have you figured out how you're going to celebrate Dad this year?